Good evening. Welcome to OptionsTender. Welcome, traders. We are going to go through SPX on multiple time frames. The theme of this video is that there is a large move incoming. Whether you're a bull or a bear, the move is going to be large, swift, and extenuous. Okay, it's going to make some people some money. So we're doing this on Sunday, March 2nd, 2025. Our monthly candles closed. We had a big move on Friday at the end of the day. All of that tells me I need to do an update today so we can go into next week looking for a pathway to the upside and or to the downside. Okay, so, and you guys know my position on it. If you're new here, here is the, I start off with this monthly time frame on the SPX. We'll go to SPY next, go top-down analysis, and then we'll go around the horn on the other indices quickly. And I do want to meet up at the VIX and kind of show something cool. I accidentally ran into it and just show how good the technical analysis, that people say you can't, use technical analysis on the VIX, and it's been sharp throughout the years. So let's jump into it. We have SPX. By the way, if you want to get these videos, I do most of my videos intraday. This video is going to come out 2 hours later for the public, and it's going to come edit as soon as I get done editing here. I don't edit my videos per se. I'm talking about the thumbnails and all that stuff. I like to do these videos just raw, no cuts. But if you want to get those videos, consider becoming a member. There's a link down below. It's 99 cents a month. You get a Discord if you want to be an individual member, meaning that individual stock analysis, we do tech and things like that. That's all the links are down below. Check them out. All right, SPX on the monthly time frame, 1929, 2000, 2025 top. All right. We have our Elliott indicator. I'm actually going to change that when we're done here. And then if we dig in a little bit closer, we have our 2008, 2021, and the 2025 top here. So we're still considered in this consolidation area. We have not gotten out of it, but we have an indecision spinning top. We're rejected off of this confluence of these trend lines 1, 2, 3, 4 times. And I do believe this continuation is going to happen with this next monthly candle to the downside. But of course, we'll show you the opposite scenario for the bulls. All right. Okay, I paused it so we can jump over to SPY. I wanted to change my indicators and things like that. We went through the on the last video on Friday, the intraday video, we went through all the indicators. So make sure you check out that video. We have the SPY setup. Now, if you got this video intraday, you would have had that SPY setup right from the bottom. And we're looking for the breakout. I'll show you on the 65-minute. So we jumped over to the SPY monthly, and we don't have information all the way back to 1929. So I do have that trend line from 2008 up to 2021. By the way, I know it topped in, for SPY, it topped in 2021 in December, or 2022 in January, while Q's topped in 2021. So here's a closer look at this consolidation area. We talked about this in many videos where the top of this range, right where the close is for the monthly here, at about, let's call it 605. I believe we've been using a 605 number, or 603 to 605. It's kind of a zone. Well, the price action wicked off of the monthly for this one, stopped at it, this one, wicked back below. We have not had a monthly close above that price zone. Okay. And once again, we wicked back below it. That's going to be a huge area. We'll call it 605 is going to be a huge leap for the market to get above. And that's going to play in later in this video. So by the way, I always recommend play this video at 1.25 or 1.5 speed, even if you want to get really fast information, because I do talk somewhat slow. put it at 2.0. I mean, you sound like a mouse. It's rapid, but at least you can get all this information that I'm trying to give you and other videos too. So you can get this faster in less time. Okay, weekly time frame. We had the bearish rising wedge, just barely right back at it, right? Just back testing this 20-week moving average. Price doesn't have to go any higher than this specifically right now. I think that with this close, I think what's possible that we get back up to maybe even that 605 zone, and that's kind of the top of this level here. I think it's going to be hard for price to get above it, so just keep repeating that 605, 603, whatever. And in this time frame, you can even say 600 to 605. I know that's 50 points on the SPX, but listen, it's a zone. Maybe you get a wick through it. I think we're going to reject back off of it. Going to our other board on the weekly, we're looking for time and price here in the middle of April to beginning of May for some sort of, in my opinion, bottom. But if price breaks above this 200% extension from 2021, that's the extension from this correction from 21 to 22, that's the 200% retracement that we rejected off of. Okay, so if price gets above the 611.85, just like this zone here, our 162% retracement from that correction, we rejected hard off of it. It came back to test it and held on to that 20-week moving average and broke above it. Okay, so that's a super important area. Super important areas is 515. Super important areas is 612. Okay, get above there, then price can be above, and we can look for a reversal into the middle of April or the beginning of May. So it's not about where price is. When time comes into effect, it depends where price is for us to look for some sort of bottom or top. Let's go to the daily. Daily trend is our friend. All right. And this trend line broke. We're back testing. We're not quite back to it. We're testing that 8 EMA. We came right back, snapped back to it at the end of the day on Friday. So a nice green reversal here. And it held on to this very important 585 area. So not only was that trend line very important, we looked out for what price action was happening. I'll show you on the 65, but we held on to this very important area here. So that's good for the bulls. That's the breakout from the election. Support, resistance, support, support. Even though price tagged underneath, it still was support. All right. So we're holding on to that support. Maybe that's the bull bear line for you. Okay. Get under it, and maybe you consider now we can correct more. Maybe a top is in. All right. So far, megaphone. And then the big test, if price even comes up to this, is getting back above these trend lines here, which has been unable to do and hold. Let's go to our fib time price look here. So I do think this is the top right here. I do think we're starting off with our initial move as a wave one. I'll put that wave one down here. I think that the wave two will come into these time and price. We have March 8th. We have a couple different price ranges right here with time. So I'll put that 2 here. That's where I'm going to play it. We're going to scale into more of our shorts and pull out more of our calls for another move down. If you're bullish, you're looking at this move being a 1, an A, B, C, which would still look the same, five wave impulse move here, and a wave 2, a 1, an ABC, expanded flat for a 2, and you're looking for price action to to drive to the upside, because we're looking for wave 3 in that case. Okay, so that's what I mean when I talked about in the beginning of the video, that this move is going to be large. Wave 3 is usually the largest and most impulsive wave of any move. And this should be an impulse wave if it's bullish. And if you're bearish, it should reject off of some points here. Again, we're talking about here's 600 to about 605, which is the volume node where this consolidation happened here. Okay, price couldn't stay above there. You can see it almost on the daily, just rejecting and just couldn't hold above, rejecting. So that's the same thing, and this is a failed breakout. All right, so either one, nobody knows. Nobody knows what that is going to happen. We're going to have to let price tell us. And so I'm looking for to scale into our positions up into that 600 to 605 area, and then for a sharp move to the downside, because that would be the wave 3 on the bear side. So wave 3 on the bull side, wave 3 on the bear side is coming soon. One of those. Big move incoming. 65. On the 65 minute, in a traditional sense, this is a bearish rising wedge. We broke down from that wedge. I'm looking for price action to back test. Now, these are updated options expected moves, so you can take a look at them. Will we get to the top side? Okay, here's how I'm going to look at it. First of all, we're having our breakout here. We could get a little bit higher and then back test the breakout from the setup that we talked about on Friday, and then a move higher. Now, options expected move. If you're not familiar, we start off with the week closed, and then we have a certain amount. I'm not going to go through how we get that. You can look at my video. It's under options expected move. It's a tutorial. That the link for the playlist of tutorials is down low. The options expected move is a certain price range, non-biased, that could go to the upside and to the downside. So in this case, it's about 10 points. You can see that we're closing at 594. And we have 604 on the upper end and 583 on the lower end. So if price gets up to this point and tags the options expected move, the longer it takes to get to the options expected move on the upside, that's actually, believe it or not, a little bit more bullish, and we'd probably have some sort of pullback and go higher. The reason why I say that is because it is highly unlikely, it does happen, but it's highly unlikely that you reach one point of the options expected move and in the same week you tag the other. Okay, so what I think is we may even reject a little bit sooner. You have a resistance point that we had over here. That's at 600. And then if price wants to get back up here, again, this could be maybe we tag up here and end up the week below, and we get a lower high after that. There's so many different ways this can go, but the point is at some point in this zone, I think we're going to reject, back testing that trend line, and then heading lower. So we'll see what the price action gives us this week. Maybe it takes a while to get up there, and it's an inside week before dropping. So I'm looking for price to be at its lows or near its lows around March 19th. We have time and price on different Fibonacci tools and our FOMC there as well. Okay, so let me dig into our move that happened last week. I think this is an impulse 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, which I do believe that that's the case whether a bull or a bear. It's just whether or not this is a wave 2 coming down, or if this is a first impulse wave 1. Looking at it from the bear side, this is 1 down here. You can't see the wick because my time and price tool. We tagged the low there. We actually got in our positions on this low, made a new low on that wedge, and just rocketed by the end of the day on Friday. And with this retracement tool from the top of the bottom of wave 1, Now we have our 382, which we got right to and started to reject from. Do we reject from the 382 going into Monday? I don't know that, but what I'm looking for is this first impulse move, and this does look impulsive. Again, that's good for the bulls and the bears because it's typical for wave 2 for the bears to be an A, B, C, but it's an impulse zigzag into whatever wave B ends up. It could be anything. It could be a flat, be a triangle, could be rectangle, anything. And then a wave C is also impulsive. So you get a 5, 3, 5. Whether a bull or bear, that's going to look the same way. Okay? So no matter what, the bulls and the bears are going to be talking about this the whole time, that they're both right. They're both right. Okay? And let's say price gets up to the 601. That's what we're talking about, the 600 to the 605 range. 601 would be the perfect spot for this golden ratio, 62% retracement. 606 is much higher. It would definitely tag that trend line. I just don't see that happening, but we'll certainly be in most of our puts or short positions because there will be inverse calls into the 601. Okay. I wish I would actually took more profit on this move, but we'll have plenty of time to get to these next positions where we'll take off more calls at 597.84, which is a 50% retracement. Now, in a perfect scenario, we would go and we'd tag this A. We get a nice sharp B that scares everybody to about 50-60% retracement, and then we get the C. Impulse move to the upside into time and price, which I'm guessing that it will be more towards that 3-7, March 7th to March 8th spot there, which March, let's see, that would be on the 3rd, 4th day. Yeah, so Friday being maybe a top there. That could happen sooner. There's other ranges, but that's what we'll be looking for. And then we have a big bearish move on Friday, and I don't know where that will get to. But again, that 601.50 is the option, is the retracement for the 62. This would be more of the scenario that's perfect for me because that 601 would be some sort of wick at this resistance area, also on the traditional sense. And then we wouldn't tag the options expected move on this side, but by Friday, we'd certainly hit this options extended, oh my Lord, expected move to the downside, excuse me, couldn't get that out. And that would be testing the lows. And I presume this being a wave 3 to the downside would get us further than this options expected move heading into Friday. Okay. So that's what I'm looking for. If you're a bull, you're looking for possibly the same look for wave 1, pullback for wave 2, and you're looking for just wave 3 to take off, and that would be 3 of 3. It should go to the moon. Okay, enough time on all that. Let's zip through QQQ. It's the failed breakout from this megaphone type pattern. I think this is going to possibly come back to, we got our lows here. So it looks like maybe this might be end up being a little bit weaker. We have a resistance here of 518, but the 524 also appears. So we'll be looking for this zone. We'd really have to see individual tech names, the big tech, Mag 7 or such, whatever they're calling it these days, be super strong for this to get up to the 531. But again, 524, if we look at this from a traditional sense, would be a nice spot here for price to get to. This, and remember, this is a zone. Look at the wicks. You could play the bodies instead, and that could be where it stops here. But 524 would line up perfectly if it came into the later part of the week here, up to this trend line once again. That would be huge back test there. It doesn't have to get that high. We have the options expected move here at 520 basically, All right. So that brings us into the 50%. So just keep that in mind. It does not have to get that high. If we do, again, it's less likely in the same week that we will hit this bottom edge as well. So I'm not expecting it to hit this downtrend line. But if it does, that's an objective short as it is. SMH. SMH, I think, is much weaker. And I don't think this is actually a 5-wave move here yet. I do want to say that this is going to end up being weaker sooner, and that this is more of you have a 1-2 setup, but then you have a 1-2 3, and we're probably going to get a sideways wave 4 here. Close that gap there. And then this continued to the downside with NVIDIA leading the way there. IWM. Again, so bearish. I think this has to play out a little bit more. I think this might be the end of wave 3, perhaps, or maybe a little bit more, because you have these market structures here: 1-2, 1-2, 1-2. I think this is going to start failing before it even starts to tag any downtrend lines or anything like that. I just think this is going to continue to be super weak. DIA had that super strength in this sort of triangle formation here. So let's draw that in, and I think this triangle will break down. I think that's what it's setting up. You have these wicks. I'll put it towards the bottom there. So you have an expanding triangle or wedge that we could probably tag up here. Maybe we open up a little strong there. And then I do think this resolves to the downside. But if it continues higher, then something else is happening, and just keep an eye on that. So here's the wicks there, and all the wicks are touching in that one. Looking good. I think this expanding move here, and it breaks down from that point. All right, now the VIX. Here's what I want to show you with the VIX. I just pulled on, I was just on the daily time frame, and I just happened to look at it. I was like, man, putting these into, look at that bullish falling wedge there, had a spike through it, but just beautiful price action. Broke out, back tested, boom, big move. And again, this trend line was perfect there, and ended up forming a sideways move, an expanding move, and that started to form a wedge as it went up there. And as you notice, that price had a fake break and just decimated to the downside. There's another expanding move, just beautiful. Up here had a rip to the upside of that move, and then boom, broke down. And here's the low. Here's the big low that we're holding so far. Nice move there. Consolidation, higher low. Breakout from that wedge, beautiful wedge. Then a consolidation with a higher low. And now we're breaking out from there. I think we backtest, and I think we go higher. I think this is all setting up beautifully. So I think that's it. Here's a closer look in the 65, but you have your higher low here, and then boom, boom, large swings, but just beautiful wedges, channels, wedges, broke out, made a new low there, and then boom, now we're having our moves. Now we're back testing. This is probably the most important part, because on the weekly time frame, we constantly go through that. I have it boxed on the weekly look here. On top of that, I know there's wicks above it, so a break above this bad boy, and you have a weekly breakout at that point. All right, you guys, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for all the support. We'll put the video we did on Friday up on the card up above here, and then thanks for joining us here at OptionsTender. Have a wonderful night, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.